Have you ever gotten up from your favorite chair after sitting for a while, maybe watching your shows or reading the paper, and felt right away that your legs just aren't quite as ready to move as they used to be? Perhaps there's a little heaviness that settles into your thighs, a slight drag when you take those first steps toward the kitchen, or even a small shake that makes you steady yourself on the armrest for a moment before you start walking. If you're over 60 and these kinds of feelings have become part of your everyday life, your legs tiring out sooner when you walk to the mailbox, feeling unsteady after standing at the stove stirring soup, or simply not having that solid, dependable feeling when you get up from the couch, then please keep listening because what I'm going to share could be the gentle explanation you've been hoping for and a way to start feeling stronger again. This isn't about needing to push yourself harder with exercise, finding some extra motivation that seems hard to come by these days, or just accepting that weakness is the price of more years. More often than not, the quiet thing that's making your legs feel less reliable is something as simple and ordinary as the fruit sitting on your kitchen counter right now. And for more than 20 years, I've worked every day with folks just like you, focusing on how to keep strength and mobility strong so you can stay independent and do the things you love without constant worry about falling or slowing down. I've heard so many stories that follow the same path. People who used to be full of energy, taking long walks with friends, tending their gardens for hours, playing with grandchildren in the yard, or simply handling all the little daily tasks around the house without a second thought, start noticing their legs changing. They feel unsteady when standing in line at the store, hesitate before stepping off a curb, worry more about slippery bathroom floors or uneven sidewalks outside, or catch themselves holding on to furniture when moving from room to room. And almost every time, when we talk about what they're eating, they smile proudly and say something like, "I eat fruit every day. It's healthy." That one comment is usually where the real understanding begins. The fruit we buy today is very different from what our parents or grandparents picked up at the market years ago. Back then, apples were smaller and often tartar, bananas weren't as long or overly sweet, mangoes and pineapples didn't have that intense candy-like flavor. Growers have changed things to make fruits larger, juicier, and much sweeter because that's what people reach for. But after we turn 60, our bodies handle that extra sugar in a completely different way. Our muscles become more sensitive to insulin, the hormone that manages blood sugar. Our nerves, which send the precise signals that let our legs move smoothly and keep us balanced, take longer to recover from any disruption. And when blood sugar rises or falls, those changes feel bigger and linger longer, adding extra strain to your energy levels, your stability, and how steady you feel throughout the day. The best part is that learning this doesn't have to feel scary. It actually puts real control back in your hands so you can make small changes that help your legs feel more reliable and strong again. Over the next 20 minutes or so, as we talk together like friends catching up, I'm going to clearly name the 7 fruits that most commonly and quietly drain strength from legs in people over 60, explain in plain everyday language exactly why they have that effect, and share a straightforward, easy-to-follow plan that lets you keep enjoying fruit while protecting your muscles and balance instead of unintentionally making things harder. Before we go further, I'd really appreciate it if you could take a quick second to type a comment with your age and your favorite fruit to eat. It only takes a moment, but it helps you stay connected to your own body and notice how it might be responding as we go along. Once you understand how fruit can affect insulin levels, nerve signals, and the power in your legs, you'll have the clear knowledge to decide what to limit, how to adjust your habits, and which little shifts can bring back stronger, steadier legs in just a few weeks. Let me explain what's really going on inside your body after 60 in a way that's straightforward and easy to picture, the way I'd tell it to a close friend over coffee. Imagine the big muscles in your thighs and around your hips as soft, absorbent sponges that are meant to take in energy from the food you eat. When you were in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, you would eat a piece of fruit, the natural sugars would enter your bloodstream, insulin would come along quickly to help direct that energy where it needed to go, and your muscles would soak it up fast and efficiently, keeping themselves fueled and ready for all the activities of the day, whether that was walking to the car, climbing stairs, standing while talking on the phone, or bending down to pick something up. The process happens smoothly and without you even thinking about it. But as we move into our 60s, 70s, and older, those sponges start to lose some of their softness. They get a little stiffer and less able to absorb as well. Insulin doesn't clear away from the bloodstream as quickly anymore. It stays around longer than it should. Because of that, the muscles aren't able to pull in the energy as effectively as they once did. The thigh muscles and hip muscles are especially sensitive to how insulin behaves. When insulin remains high for too long after you've eaten, it sends a message to the body to store that energy away instead of using it to repair tiny daily wear or keep the muscle tissue healthy and strong. Over months and then years, this speeds up sarcopenia, the medical name for the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength that makes simple daily movements feel more difficult, like getting up from a chair without using your arms for help, going up a few steps without needing to pause and catch your breath, or keeping your balance when you turn quickly in a hallway or reach for something on a high shelf. Researchers at the University of California followed 480 adults for a full 10 years. They measured thigh muscle size and strength regularly and looked closely at how blood sugar behaved after meals. What they discovered was clear. People who had frequent sharp spikes in blood sugar after eating lost muscle in their thighs 27% faster than those whose blood sugar rose more gently and returned to normal more quickly. This might feel surprising because fruit has always been talked about as one of the best things you can eat, and you've probably included it in your meals for most of your life, thinking it was doing your body a favor. But the truth is that even natural sugar from fruit can slowly interfere with how muscles repair and stay strong when it comes in large, quick amounts, especially as our bodies become less adaptable with age. If you've ever had a piece of fruit or something sweet and then, not long afterward, noticed your legs feeling extra tired, heavy, or weak, like they just didn't have their usual energy, or felt dragged down when you tried to walk across the room or stand a little longer than usual, type the word tired in the comments right now so I know this is matching up with what you felt yourself. What makes this even more confusing is that so many favorite fruits are loaded with potassium, which we all need. Bananas are probably the most famous example, but pineapple, mango, oranges, and cantaloupe have plenty too. Potassium is important. It helps nerves send clear signals so your leg muscles can contract and relax at the right times. Without enough, you'd feel weak or get cramps easily. But when you get too much potassium coming in every day, mostly from fruit, without the right balance from other foods, it can upset the delicate electrical balance that nerves depend on to work properly. Picture your nerves as fine electrical wires running all through your body. If too much potassium throws off the voltage, the messages to your leg muscles arrive slowly, weakly, or not quite in rhythm. Many people over 60 who eat high-potassium fruit regularly start noticing their legs feel heavier as the afternoon goes on. They get more frequent cramps, maybe in their calves at night when they're in bed trying to sleep or after sitting for a long time, or certain areas of their legs feel numb or asleep, even though doctors say their circulation is fine. A study published in 2019 in the Journal of Geriatric Medicine looked specifically at adults over 65. And found that those getting high amounts of potassium mainly from daily fruit reported leg cramping episodes about 18% more often than people who kept their potassium intake more moderate. So something that feels perfectly healthy and good for you when you're 35 or 45 can quietly begin to cause problems for your legs by the time you're 70. Another big piece is glycemic load, how fast and how high a food pushes your blood sugar up. Fruits like grapes, mangoes, and watermelon taste light and juicy, but they send sugar into your blood very rapidly. Even a small handful of grapes can make blood sugar climb faster than many traditional desserts. That quick rush creates some low-grade inflammation throughout the body, makes it harder for muscles to repair the small daily wear from walking or standing, and slows down how quickly nerves recover from ordinary use. When this pattern continues over several months, you start losing power in the hip muscles and the quadriceps, the large front thigh muscles that act like stabilizers and help you stay balanced, push forward when walking, or steady yourself when you change direction. Researchers connected with Harvard followed 600 adults for 5 years, keeping track of their fruit choices and measuring their leg strength several times. They saw that those who ate a lot of these high glycemic fruits had about a 15% drop in leg muscle strength over that time, and this happened even when their exercise routines stayed about the same. One of the most common mistakes is eating fruit by itself first thing in the morning when your stomach is empty, or blending several pieces into a big smoothie. Both let the sugar hit your bloodstream even faster and harder because there's nothing else to slow it down. Fiber plays a huge role here too. When you eat whole fruit with its natural fiber, that fiber acts like a gentle speed bump, slowing sugar absorption so your muscles get a steady, manageable supply of energy instead of a sudden flood. Unfortunately, many popular ways of eating fruit today remove or greatly reduce that protective fiber. Fruit juice has almost none left after it's pressed. Dried fruits like raisins, dates, or apricots pack the sugar tight while cutting the fiber way down per bite. Smoothies break the fiber into tiny pieces, so it doesn't slow absorption the way chewing whole fruit does. It's almost like trying to water a plant by blasting it with a high-pressure hose instead of using a gentle watering can. The plant gets swamped and can't take it in properly, and a lot just runs off. When your muscles face that kind of sugar overload, insulin shoots up sharply, muscle repair gets put on hold, and fatigue builds up in your legs, often showing as that heavy, worn-out feeling by mid-afternoon or evening. In a 2021 research project in Europe, scientists followed 320 older adults and compared how their bodies handled fruit with plenty of fiber versus fruit with low or reduced fiber. The low-fiber group had post-meal insulin jumps 40% higher, and after 3 months they actually measured a clear decrease in quadriceps strength. That's exactly why paying attention to how much fiber stays in your fruit when you eat it and what you eat it with becomes so important. Most everyday nutrition tips don't go into these finer practical points. Then there's anabolic resistance, which becomes more obvious after 60. It means muscle tissue gets less efficient at using the protein you eat to rebuild and maintain itself. You might be making an effort to include good protein like eggs, chicken, fish, or yogurt. But if your blood sugar is spiking frequently from sweet fruits or other sources, those spikes can interfere with how well the protein gets put to work. Imagine trying to plant a flower bed, but someone has poured concrete over the soil first. The protein is the flower trying to nourish your muscles, and the repeated sugar surges are what harden everything up. Scientists at Boston University studied this carefully and found that older adults with regular sharp increases in blood sugar after eating showed muscle protein synthesis, the process of building new muscle tissue, 32% slower compared to people who kept their insulin responses more controlled. When you put all these pieces together, the extra sugar in today's fruits, the high potassium in many popular choices, the loss of fiber in how we prepare them, and the natural changes in insulin sensitivity and muscle responsiveness that come with age, it creates this hidden, ongoing drain on leg strength that most people never connect to their daily fruit habit. If any of this is sounding familiar, if your legs sometimes feel heavy, wobbly, or unusually tired after you've had fruit, feel free to type the word balance in the comments so I know you're recognizing your own experience. You might be wondering why some older folks seem to eat fruit every day and still keep good leg strength and steady balance. The difference almost always comes down to having an effective strategy rather than just eating fruit randomly throughout the day. And that's exactly what I want to share with you next. Let me tell you about Margaret, who was 71 when she first came to see me. She was a very independent woman who took real pride in looking after herself, especially her eating habits. Every single morning without fail, she would prepare a big, colorful bowl of fruit, sliced bananas, a generous handful of grapes, chunks of fresh pineapple, and ripe mango pieces. She felt good about starting her day that way and thought it was giving her the energy and vitamins she needed. But come early afternoon, usually around 2 or 3 o'clock, her legs would start feeling weak and unreliable. She began avoiding stairs whenever possible. She'd hold onto furniture or walls when moving through her house, and deep down she was starting to accept that maybe this was just what happened as you got older. When we sat down together in my office, she looked at me with genuine confusion and a little frustration in her voice. She said, "Dr. Kent, I really don't get it. Everyone tells me I eat so healthy, so why do my legs feel this heavy and tired all the time? I used to be able to do everything without thinking, and now I feel like I'm slowing down." We decided to try something different using what I call the fruit protocol, which is really just a simple, memorable way to organize the best timing, the smartest food combinations, and sensible portion sizes. We took out those very sweet high-sugar fruits she was used to and instead introduced small amounts of lower-sugar options like fresh berries and crisp green apples, but always eaten after she'd had some protein in her meal. We didn't make her give up fruit completely, we just changed how and when she enjoyed it. After only 3 weeks, she came back amazed at the difference. Her legs felt noticeably stronger and more dependable. She was able to go up and down stairs without needing to pause halfway. She could walk farther than before without feeling exhausted. And she told me with a big smile and tears in her eyes, "For the first time in a long while, I actually feel like I can trust my legs to carry me where I need to go." My husband even noticed I was smiling more and moving around the house like my old self. When we measured her progress, her quadriceps strength, the power in the front thigh muscles, had gone up by 18%, her balance test scores improved 22%, and on a scale where she rated her daily fatigue from 1 to 10, she dropped from a 7 down to a 3. That kind of change in such a short time meant she was getting her independence and confidence back, and she felt like she had her life back in her own hands. Then there was Robert, a 74-year-old gentleman who really enjoyed his routine. Every morning he would blend up a big smoothie with a whole banana, lots of mango chunks, a generous splash of orange juice, and some yogurt to make it creamy. He looked forward to it as a healthy start, and thought it was giving him a good boost for the day. But by mid-morning, often before lunchtime, his legs would start giving out on him. He'd feel them weaken to the point where he had to sit down sooner than he wanted, even after only light activity around the house. He kept thinking it was simply age catching up with him, and there wasn't much to be done. When we talked it through, he told me, "Dr. Kent, by 10 o'clock my legs just give out and I have to sit down. I thought it was just old age and I'd have to live with it." We made a few straightforward swaps. We stopped the morning smoothie habit altogether because it was delivering too much sugar too fast first thing in the day. Instead, we moved a modest portion of fruit to come after his lunch, always alongside some protein, and we focused on choosing berries that kept more of their natural fiber. Within 4 weeks, he was amazed at how much better he felt. He could go out for 30-minute walks every day without having to stop and rest. He managed stairs without leaning heavily on the handrail, and he described his leg energy as having improved by about 60% compared to before. He said with a big grin, "I can finally play with my grandkids without having to sit down every 10 minutes, and I feel like myself again." When we checked the science-based measures, his muscle protein synthesis rate, the speed at which his body was building and repairing muscle, had increased by 25% from where it started. Stories like Margaret's and Robert's show very clearly that the goal isn't to eliminate fruit from your life completely. It's about learning to choose the right kinds, eat them in reasonable amounts, and time them thoughtfully so they support your body instead of quietly working against it. So now let me walk you through the exact approach I guide my patients to follow, something I've named the fruit protocol, because the word itself helps you remember the main points. The F stands for fruit pairing, meaning you always eat your fruit together with some source of protein or healthy fat. This simple combination dramatically slows down how quickly the sugar enters your bloodstream and helps shield your muscles from those sharp insulin rises. Researchers at the University of Sydney ran experiments showing that when people ate berries alongside Greek yogurt, the insulin spike after the meal dropped by a full 50% compared to eating the berries by themselves. You can do something as easy as having a small handful of blueberries with about 10 almonds, or maybe half a cup of cottage cheese with a few sliced strawberries. The very same berries eaten alone on an empty stomach could cause enough of an insulin reaction to interfere with muscle maintenance and repair over time. Try this with your lunch by adding a small apple after your chicken salad, or with dinner by having berries after your fish. The protein acts like a buffer so the sugar releases slowly, your insulin stays steady, and your legs don't get that tired, heavy feeling later in the day. This pairing helps your legs feel lighter, stronger, more steady, less fatigued, and gives you more confidence in your everyday movements. The R is for right portion, and this is really important because the fruits available now carry much more natural sugar per bite than they did decades ago. Keeping servings small makes a big difference. Think half a cup of berries at a time, or just one small apple rather than a large one. Big fruit bowls, especially first thing in the morning, or fruit-heavy smoothies, can easily deliver far more sugar than your aging muscles are ready to handle comfortably. Usually one modest serving of fruit spread across the day gives you all the vitamins and micronutrients you need without overloading your system. This keeps your blood sugar gentle, protects your muscles from overload, and lets your legs stay energized instead of drained. U stands for understand timing, and this might be the single biggest game changer for many people. Try to eat fruit after you've already had a meal that includes protein and some fat, never first thing on an empty stomach or right before eating other foods. When fruit comes after other food, the blood sugar rise stays much gentler. your energy levels hold steady instead of crashing later, and your leg muscles stay better protected from the negative effects. So rather than starting your day with a fruit smoothie, consider having eggs with some vegetables or a piece of whole grain toast with avocado. Save those berries for an afternoon snack paired with a few nuts or a little plain yogurt. That shift in timing alone can make your legs feel lighter and more energetic through the rest of the day, helping you walk farther, stand longer, and feel more confident in your movements.